Hello guys, Captain Cody here from globalfishingreports.com. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to throw any size cast net. I'm going to be throwing a 12-foot net. You're not going to have to use your teeth. You're not going to have to throw it up on your shoulder and get your lead on your shoulder and get all wet in the morning or in the evenings. I throw a net for a living, so sometimes I'm throwing a net 10 times a day, and I was trying to find the easiest way to do it, and this is the easiest way I found to throw any size cast net. All right guys, this is the net we're throwing today. A 12-foot Betts Old Salt. First thing you do is you untangle it. To untangle it, you just work the line the whole way across. So you pull 100% of your net from one side to another. And a lot of times it is tangled. This net is pretty new. It doesn't get tangled very much, which is great. Now we're working the whole way across. Now we're going to load our net. About waist level. You take about 1/3 to 1/2 of the net. And you collect it just like we were just fanning it. The whole way across. It's about 1/3. This is important. You got to take this and put it up on your thumb. That line. And you just grab a little bit more line and you're ready to throw. When you throw, you sort of swing this arm out and sort of pull this arm back. I'll show you. Big opening.
Really, most of it comes down to loading it properly and having it loaded. If it's loaded properly, it'll almost open itself.
All right. I'm excited to learn.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Perfect.
Hopefully there's a bunch of bait right
Yeah.
Hey y'all, Justin with Kayak Catfish. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to throw a cast net. Now this video is kind of going to flow into a few different sections. I'm going to start out here on the shore and I'm going to show you the technique I use to throw the cast net. Then after that, I'm going to get out in the water in my kayak and I'm going to show you how I throw it in the kayak. The technique doesn't change, but I just want you to be able to see me going through the motions out on the water in the kayak. And then after that, I'm going to go over some tips that will help you be successful while throwing the cast net in the kayak. Now, as far as cast nets go, if you're new to cast nets, if you've never thrown one before, don't go out and get a 10-foot cast net. Start out small and work your way up. Personally, as a kayak fisherman, I prefer to keep my net small. I use a 5-foot net. That's what I'm going to be throwing here today. That's a good size. It's big enough that you can get some bait pretty easily with it, but it's still small enough that it's manageable in the kayak. So, like I said, this is a 5-foot net. What I'm going to do to throw is I'm going to take my rope here. It's got this loop on the end. I'm going to bring it down, run the rope through, and I'm going to put my right wrist through there. And I'm going to take my rope and I'm just going to make some loops with it. Size doesn't really matter on the loops. It's just basically just to get your rope out of the way. Next, I'm going to grab my net. I'm going to step back here from the camera a little bit so you can see better. Grab my net. I'm going to come down about halfway on the net there. Take my left hand, kind of straighten the bottom of the net out here. I'm going to grab a loop. Now my net here, my cast net, is a chain bottom. A lot of you use lead bottoms. That's fine. Either way, the technique doesn't change. Either one works fine. But I'm going to take a strand of it here, and I've got my index finger and my thumb separated. I'm going to come up and I'm going to loop this over, just like that. All right, so now I'm going to come down and you can see the two strands here kind of dangling. I'm going to take this one that's farthest away from me, come up, and I'm going to loop it over my index finger again. Then I'm going to take the strand that's closest to my body, come up, loop it over my thumb. So now that's it. I'm done with my right hand. Next I'm going to come back, grab my left hand here, grab this strand, and I'm going to grab part of the net here. I'm going to get a third to a half, it doesn't really matter, just somewhere in there. And now I'm ready to throw. Now when you're throwing this isn't baseball, you're not going to be throwing overhand. What you want to do is when you come around, you want to come around your body in kind of a circular motion when you throw. And again, I'm not grabbing this with my right hand. You can see my thumb and index finger, they're still separated. Let me throw here. See where I'm at on the camera. That's half the battle, is filming this yourself. So I'm going to come back and let it go. You're going to let it sink however deep you need to let it go there for the area you're fishing, and then pull it in. When you pull it in, the net's going to collapse around any fish that may be there. You can see here, I don't know if you can see on camera, I got a few small shad here with that throw. About that size right there, just kind of small thread fins. But that's all there is to it. It's a very simple technique. You get a good open net every time you throw to a net. All right guys, so I moved over here to this little pocket. I've seen some shad flipping over here. I'm gonna make a few throws. Before I do though, I just want to emphasize the importance of safety. Please be careful out there. Anytime you're standing up in a kayak, and you know, I fish out of a very stable kayak, I can stand easily in this thing, but it's still a narrow platform, and when you're standing up and you're shifting your weight with throwing this net, things can go wrong. So please be careful, use extreme caution, always wear your PFD anytime you're on the water, but especially if you're standing up in your kayak and throwing the net, and just be careful out there guys. But I'm going to make a few throws in here. Like I said, again, my technique's not going to change. I'm going to use the same thing. I am going to throw with my right hand here, because as I make my way through this pocket here, there I'm going to be throwing to is going to be on my left. So using my right hand, it's a whole lot easier to throw off the left side of my kayak. If I was throwing toward the right side, I'd throw with my left hand. And that's why it's important that I think to at least attempt to get better at throwing the cast net with both arms, because there's going to be in situations in your kayak where you're going to need to throw off one side or the other. And it's helpful to be able to use both arms in that situation. So let me just get situated here. We'll make a few throws, see if we can get us some bait.
What's going on YouTube? Remy here. Welcome to my channel, High Seas Fishing. In this video I'm going to be showing you guys how to throw a cast net. Now it doesn't matter what size of net you have, whether it's a 6-foot or a 14-foot cast net, this method should work for all sizes. There might be one additional step that you might have to take, but I'll show you that as we go more into the video. So first and foremost, you have to decide which hand to load the net in. Usually you load the net in the same hand that you throw a football with. So for me, it's going to be my right. If you're a lefty, you just do the same steps with your left hand. All right, let's get started. You take your hand line, you put it through your wrist. Something cool that Phytech has is this comfort cuff, and you just slide it over your wrist. You don't have to worry about the hand line ever slipping out of your hand or losing the cast net. So once you get that, you take your hand line, you want to get nice even loops like this, about arm's length. Grab the net by the horn, just underneath the horn, with the horn facing up, like so. Not like this. Make sure it's like that. Before you continue, you want to make sure that there's no tangles on the bottom of the lead line. That's probably one of the most important parts. Any tangles on the bottom and you're going to ruin the whole throw. So basically you want to maybe fan down the lead line. Make sure there's no braille line sticking out of the net. If there's any tangle, just straighten it out. All right. So once you grab a hold of the net, you want to come down about waist high. Now the goal is to not have any excess netting or hand line dangle below the lead line, because what might happen is if you have any hand line dangle below the lead line, this hand line could get caught underneath the lead line and that could ruin your throw. So that's why I said nice even loops. You don't want the loops to be too big. About waist high. Now if the net that you have is too big, like a 12-footer, sometimes what might happen is this loop might get too big and dangle below the lead line. So like I said before, there's this one additional step that you want to do if the net is too big. You want to make 2 loops instead of 1. That's 1 loop, and then a second loop about waist high. So a 6-foot to a 8-foot net, or a 6-foot to a 10-foot, you might get away with 1 loop. For a 12-foot, you might want to make 2 loops of the net. So once you have the net about waist high, you want to straighten out the net. Make sure it's not twisted up like this. Straighten it up. You want to go to your 9 o'clock position. If I'm facing the camera, this would be my 9 o'clock. Start fanning out the net, gathering it in your hand, about 1/3 of the net. Once you get 1/3 of the net, you go over your shoulder and rest the net on your elbow. Show you again. Your elbow like this. Now if you look, you have the net separated from your hand to your elbow. It's dangling like this. There's 2 parts of the net. You have the inside of the net and you have the outside. You want to grab the inside of the net, maybe about halfway from the bottom to the top. Grab the inside and get about another 1/3 of the net, like this. So you have 1/3 of the net in your left hand, 1/3 dangling, and you have another 1/3 on your elbow. And as you can see, the net is already kind of open. And that's basically it. One extra step that I like to do is I like to hold the net in my pinky, the lead line in my pinky. And this will be the last part of the net that gets released from my hand. Now the stance that I like to take is when the bait is in front of me, I like to have my left foot in front and my right foot in back. And I'm facing the bait forward. I'm not standing like this. I'm standing left foot forward, right foot back, and I like to use my left foot as a leverage. Now this is the motion of the net. You want to swing the net back, and as the net is getting momentum forward, you want to give it a little force and throw the net like a frisbee. I'll have this in slow motion, so maybe you'll see it better when I throw it in slow motion.
guys, Dark Sizzle here. Today, I'm going to be showing you my method of how I throw my 8-foot cast net, and this technique is very easy and does not require your mouth. Before I show you how I throw my net, I just want to give you the basics of a cast net and show you and tell you the terms, starting with the hand line. This is the hand line that connects to the swivel. You see there's a big swivel right here. This is the braille line. This blue piece is called the horn. So this is the horn that comes up to the braille line. The braille line runs all the way down the net, all the way to the end here, and connects to the lead line. And this is the lead line. So the braille line is attached on the edge here, and then you've got your weights. So this is the setup of the net, and now I'm going to show you how I throw it. Before I get to how to throw the cast net, I just want to tell you what type of cast net this is and the size of it. And this is a custom Tim Wade cast net. It has 3/8 holes and it's an 8-foot net. And in my opinion, the 8-foot net is all around general purpose, just a perfect net for the recreational fisherman. You know, you can throw this, the method I'm about to show you, you can use it up to a 9-foot net, but once you get to 10 foot and above, you have to use a different method to throw the net, like a triple load throw, and it's just the perfect all-around net. I don't think you need anything much bigger. I catch mullet in it, I catch pilchards in it. Whenever the bait's here, I have no trouble catching fish in this 8-foot cast net. All right, now I'm gonna show you how to throw the cast net. So, you go up to your net, wherever it is, it's in a bucket, it's somewhere on the boat and it's a big old mess. So I'm coming up to my net here, and the first thing I want to do is kind of like get the hand line cleared, make sure there's no knots on it. And the knots, I don't like to have knots in this hand line at all. You need to have it just pretty nice and pretty looking. So I'm just gonna basically run my hands through the hand line just to make sure I get all the tangles out or whatever might be going on with it. Seems to be pretty good. Let's see. And then once I do that, what I like to do, this is my opinion, but you can do it how you like, but I like to clear the net first. So I'm gonna make sure the net is ready to throw right now. And what I mean by that is, what you do is, you take your horn and you're gonna go ahead and stretch the net out and make sure the horn is gonna come all the way up to the swivel here. So once I have it like that, I know that the braille line is completely straight and lined up. So that's the way you're going to be throwing the net, with the horn right next to the swivel. And then I'm going to come down here, hold it about halfway, and then I'm going to just basically make sure that the lead line hasn't been flipped, that the braille line did not flip over the lead line. And basically what I do is kind of just lay out the net like this. And that's pretty good there. And I just work my way around the whole net, making sure that there's no issues with the braille line being flipped over the lead lines. And I'll show you an example here. All right, so like for instance, my net's pretty good right now, but usually this braille line will get flipped and it'll get wrapped around like that, and you can't throw the net with this braille line sticking out. The braille line needs to be inside. So you would just flip the lead line back over and make sure the net is good to go. And the net is good to go. Okay, so now that my net, I know it's ready to go, it's clean, it looks perfect for a nice pancake toss. I'm gonna take the lead line, the hand line with the loop here, put it over my wrist. I'm a lefty, by the way, so this might look a little strange to you guys, but I'm gonna do my very best to show you how to throw this cast net without the lefty interfering. So cinch it up to your wrist like so. So if you're right-handed, it's gonna be on your right wrist. So now what I'm gonna do is, I'm going to take an arm's length like this, stretch out the rope, then I'm gonna do a coil. So when I coil it, this is very important. When I coil it, you want the coil running through your thumb right here. You don't want to coil it backwards like this. So basically, I have that coil, I stretched it out, I have that coil go over your thumb and your pointer finger, just like so. You don't want to do it the backwards way. Everything needs to go like this. So I'm going to stretch it again, make another coil, go over my thumb and my pointer finger. And you're going to do that all the way down to the horn. So stretch it out again, another coil, stretch it out again, another coil, and just remember, always when you lay the rope, the coil onto your hand, thumb and pointer finger. There we go. There we go. All right. Now, this is a part where you want to make sure that your horn is all the way up to your swivel. And you want to make sure the net's not twisted. You see how this top right here is twisted? That's a no-no. So you want to make sure the net is nice and straight. Take the twist out. Usually I like to bring it up vertical like this, and then make sure the net is all the way up to the swivel. Now you're going to coil again, but now we're out of rope and we're to the net. So to make the next coil, what you're going to do is, you're not really going to measure it like you did with your arms, but you're going to take maybe a foot of it and lay it over. Lay it over the same way. It needs to go through your thumb and your pointer finger. So now I've got a half coil of rope, a half coil of the net. Then my net is ready to go. I know that I took all the issues out of the lead line and the braille line. So the next part is, you're going to make another coil. You want to line it up right next to you like this, and you kind of want to you want to measure it about right here at this length, maybe a little higher to your waist here, but usually this is a good area to go ahead and make your next coil, and that way you can pick it up off the ground and then give it a nice toss. So I've measured it like this. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to lay the coil over my hand like that. You've got your hand line on your wrist, whatever your throwing hand is, and you've got all your coils in your throwing hand. So I'm left-handed, so everything is in this left hand. So now that I'm ready to throw, I already measured it out according to my waist. This is the most important part here, in my opinion. When you go to separate the lead line, because we're going to be taking half of the lead line and lifting it up, what you need to do is look at your coils, look at your actual palm, and you see like this middle piece, you want to start pulling lead line from this middle area. If you start pulling lead line from this outside area, you're not going to throw the net correctly at all. It's not going to open. Even if you do it from this side, that's not correct. You need to make sure you pull the net from the middle of your palm, like so. So that's perfect. You see that the line is starting to separate here from the middle of my palm. And I kind of just start pulling from both sides, pulling the net out like this. And then, once you've separated about half of the line into your right hand, like this, see, that's about half. So now I've got half right here. So the next part of what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the net, I'm going to lay it like this into my hand. So you can see, I take this piece and just lay it forward, curl it in toward the outside of you. So this is the hardest part. But you're going to curl it in like this, grab it with your other fingers, so your thumb is underneath the net and these fingers are outside of the net, like that. And you can see that I've got half the lead lines up high and I've got half the lead lines down here. And now you can see that the two lead lines here are running down. You want to pull the line that's closest to you. So this is the outside line. This line is closest to me. I'm going to grab this, and you can kind of see when I'm going to make my throw that it's already going to open like this. So I've got this piece of the line, and then I'm going to make the throw, and it should open no problem. Now I'm ready to throw, just a few simple steps, and you're ready to throw with no teeth, no messing up your teeth whatsoever. So when I'm going to throw, usually, I wait for the bait to get lined up in the right position, but I kind of swing the net back and forth a couple times just to get into the rhythm of it. And when you go to throw, you really don't need that much force. It's kind of more of like a finesse thing. You just kind of give it a big swing and turn your hips and get that net out there. And when you do get to go to throw it and let go, you let go of this piece first. You kind of try to hold on to this piece a little longer, not much longer, because you don't want the net to like fall right next to you, but it's going to take a little bit of practice to get it down right. So here we go.